Hello, welcome to episode 123 of the Epic Film Challenge 2, 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, 1998's Run, Lola Run. I'd known about this film for years. It made a big splash when it came out, this European film that was really exciting and kind of different and unique. And all I knew about it was that it had this girl in it called Lola with this shock red hair and that she ran a lot. That's all I knew. I used to think it was the girl from Resident Evil and The Fifth Element because she has the same kind of hair in The Fifth Element, but it's a different actress. German film. And, you know, up until yesterday, I really didn't know that much about it. It was in the book. I decided to sit down and watch it. And Run, Lola, Run took me on an 80-minute thrill ride that I won't be forgetting anytime soon. How do I even set up the plot for this without spoiling anything? I'd love people to go into this film without knowing anything about it because it really takes a turn a couple of times, and I'd be really intrigued to kind of hear people's thoughts going into it blind. I'll do a bit of spoiler talk, that's what I'll do. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. But to briefly set up this movie, there's a girl called Lola, and she has a boyfriend called Manny. And Manny's job is kind of delivering money for kind of gangsters, pretty much. He's on the lower end, and they give him this job that's designed to kind of solidify their trust for him. They give him 100,000 marks. I don't know how much that is in equivalent to anything, but it's a shitload of money. And so he has to deliver this hefty amount of cash, and he ends up forgetting it and leaving it on a train in the underground, and a homeless guy takes off with it. So he is screwed. He's going to get killed unless he rustles up this money somehow in the next 20 minutes. He calls Lola, and this is the beginning of the film. And she's trying to process it, and she says, right, just stay where you are. I'll get the money. And so she's got 20 minutes to kind of just out of nowhere, just magically get this money somehow, some way. And that's the film. And she runs out of the apartment, and she's off, and she's got to try and find, you know, all this money. Otherwise, you know, her boyfriend will be killed, or as he's threatened, he will go into the nearest supermarket and hold them up for the money. So she's basically trying to stop her boyfriend, her partner, from being either killed or arrested. And she is a woman on a mission. And what really stands out about this film is the way that this story is presented. You know, anyone can tell, you know, any kind of story, but the way you tell it can really change the dynamic of it completely. And the way the director tackled this, I don't know how to pronounce his name, unfortunately. I'm not going to even try it because I've forgotten. It's a weird kind of combination of letters. I don't want to ruin it. But the director, Tom, incredible job with this. Incredible, right from the get-go. I mean, the credit sequence at the beginning, you get all the actors in kind of like a mugshot profile spinning around, and you get their character name and then the actor's name. There's an animated sequence at the beginning. And the way this film was shot, I mean, it looks gorgeous. It's shot on film, but then there'll be scenes where it's shot on video and it looks horrible. There'll be scenes where it's in black and white. There'll be scenes where it's animated. And it keeps going into different ways, and it never feels like it's just being done for the sake of it. It feels like these moments are kind of, they're all kind of this cohesive part of this fever dream that is this film. Like it shouldn't work. It really shouldn't, but it does totally and completely. It just felt like a finessed package of a film that has all these elements in it and is so crazy, so mile a minute, so fast, so frenetic. There are single frames flashing up at times. The editing is unbelievable, and I would be very shocked if Edgar Wright wasn't at least somewhat inspired by the editing style of this film. In some way. This was before Edgar Wright did Spaced and obviously the films that he made in the 2000s and now. But the editing just screamed Edgar Wright to me. The way that these stories were told in very quick frames. As Lola is running through the streets of this German city, she'll bump into people and they'll kind of turn around, and then we'll kind of stop on them and we'll get flash frames, bang, 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 of about 20 different photographs that tell you the story of this character after they've encountered Lola running past them. And they're funny little kind of, you know, dark kind of black comedy moments, which you kind of see what would happen to this person, you know, following their encounter with Lola. Just these weird kind of story elements and things the director threw in there that just made it so interesting and, again, unique. And I feel like I'm just throwing hyperbole at the screen now at this point. But suffice it to say, I absolutely loved this film, and I think that the actress who played Lola, Franka, I've forgotten her last name, that's really bad of me, but she's been in other films. She was in The Bourne Identity, that she was the main girl in that, but she is phenomenal in this film. Not only is she literally running throughout most of the film, but the emotion she has to bring to the scenes that she's in, because it's so high energy, it's so intense, and she really conveys the sense of urgency you would probably have if your significant other was, you know, being threatened with death, you know, or being arrested. I mean, you really feel how urgent it is for her to get this money by any means necessary. What really pushes this film to another level, though, is what makes the film special. It's the film's gimmick, which a lot of people talk about, and I'm just trying to be cagey about, because I would really love you to just go into this film, watch it without hearing anything about what's unique about the film in another way, and just check it out and be surprised, because I think that would be a great experience for anyone. Is it a film must see before you die? Absolutely. I think this is a masterpiece for me, because it tells a story in a really fun way, using editing to give you this visual experience, and the music is kind of this kind of trancey, kind of ravey techno, kind of just pulsating throughout most of it. You know, it really gets you amped up, and I feel like if you were to take cocaine and watch this film, you would probably have an instant heart attack. Anyway, now I'm going to do some spoiler talk. So if you continue to watch this, then, you know, I'm not going to spoil the ending of the film or anything, but I'm assuming you've either seen the film or you would like to hear more about it. So, what happens is, Lola fails to get this money. She fails her mission, and something happens, you know, she fails for a reason. And then, we go back to the beginning again, and she gets another shot at it. And so she does things a little bit differently. And then she fails again, and she goes back to the beginning again, and she does things differently again. So we have three kind of timelines, three chances for Lola to complete this mission, to save her boyfriend. And each time there's these subtle differences, there's these extreme differences. The people I was talking about, when she's running along the street and she'll bump into someone, she'll maybe not bump into them in the same kind of way, and they'll have a slightly different reaction. And then we'll see what happens to them after that, and it's completely different. And I love that, because it really delves into that idea of the butterfly effect, and any small change could really just completely change the course of your life. It really could. And there's some great moments of gravitas in this. There's a scene where she gets into the back of an ambulance, and there's a guy there who's on the bed, and he's dying, and she holds his hand and she calms him, and his heartbeat returns, and he just stares at her, and she just stares at him. And it's a beautiful little moment that it's just dropped in there, you know, just because. And I love shit like that, and it's kind of life-affirming in a way. It makes you think about, you know, all these little things that could add up to so much. But the film itself is just a kind of pulpy, kind of, you know, fun action kind of, again, fever dream of a movie. It's supposed to be fun and exciting and kind of, you know, invigorating and exciting, all that stuff. But I still think that there's a little bit of a message you can take away from it in some weird way. Even though it's played for laughs, you know, you'll see that this woman, you know, in the first run of the movie, she bumps into Lola, and then she goes off, and her husband leaves her, and she steals a baby, you know. And then the second run, Lola kind of, you know, runs past her, doesn't bump into her, and then we see that she goes on to be a born-again Christian. Like, oh, it's meant to be a joke, but it really makes you think about it, I think, and it really has your mind spinning with all the stuff that's going on screen, the editing, the camera techniques, you know, just really, really great cinematography, and again, use of editing, use of different formats of the black and white film, the video. It's to me, this is definitely a masterpiece. This is my kind of film, something that tells a story in a completely different way, in a way that I've never seen before. This film is unlike anything I've seen before, which is at this point becoming a cliche in this Epic Film Challenge 2 series, but I suppose that's what makes a film you should see before you die, if it's something you've never seen before. And I've certainly never seen a film like Run, Lola, Run before, and it's one I'll be returning to again and again and again. I loved it, in case you couldn't already tell.